team accounted for 7 of those. Now for years, Frank Beamer and the guys in Miami have been winning games with the kicking game. I'd like to comment, now there are more teams doing this. I'd like to comment your comment on this trend and what the kicking game means for North Carolina in particular.
Yeah, we take a lot of pride in our special teams and in every aspect of it, all 4 phases. I would say that probably Frank Beamer back when he started out was the one that kind of made it the thing to do. And I will tell you that, from that point on, I think everybody's putting a lot more emphasis on it. For us, it's something that our guys take a lot of pride in. It's a culture that we've created that it's special to be on a special team. That for us, if you can't start on one of the big 4, then you can't start on offense or defense. So our guys understand the importance of it.
We'll stay right here, Coach, on this side.
Hey, Coach Jeff, WRAL in Raleigh. Preseason pick number 4, but the Coastal seems so wide open. What are the elements of your team that gives you hope that you can compete for that title?
We've got some guys coming back that have some experience. We don't have a lot of age. We were only, I believe, 6 seniors on this football team, but we have some talent in our young classes. And so those guys are pretty exciting, and I think that I do believe the Coastal is wide open. I believe anybody can win it. I believe it's going to be the team that turns the ball over the fewest times, plays best defense, and continues to be good on special teams.
With your love for offense, can you talk about how many offensive weapons you have this year?
Yeah, again, it starts up front. We can talk about all the weapons, but it's going to start up front. But, we've got Jack Tabb at a tight end position that's following Eric Ebron. You can go out to Quinshot Davis, T.J. Thorpe, Bug Howard. You've got Ryan Switzer in the slot. You've got Kendrick Singleton in there. And then you've got T.J. Logan, Chris Francis, Elijah Hood, Romar Morris in the backfield. We've got some competition at the quarterback position with Marquise and Mitch Trubisky. So we've got a little bit of talent that we ought to be able to score some points if we can gel up front. And that's going to be the key to our team.
We'll have 2 questions on this side, Coach.
Coach Alex Dodd, Dodd Sports Network, Greenville, South Carolina. Talk about how the experience that you have coming back helps with preparation for the season and for your opening game.
Yeah, we all learned the lesson last year. We don't want to start the season out the way we started this past season. So that's a good thing. If something good can come out of that. Unfortunately, last year we had to play a lot of young guys. But fortunately for this year, all those young guys got a lot of experience, and so that's a good thing. So they won't be so wide-eyed at the beginning of the season, looking around, figuring out what's going on. They'll know what's going on, and they'll play the way they should play.
Right here, still.
Coach Kenny Beck, WXI, local NBC here in the Triad. You and your staff have already been asked to pick up the tab for one scandal that predated you, had nothing to do with your tenure in Chapel Hill, with the NCAA reopening its investigation into AFM. How concerned should Carolina fans be that the football program might get touched again?
I really don't think they should be concerned. I'm not concerned about it. I don't think our team's concerned about it. It's something that we've dealt with in the last 3 years for us, and so it's for us it's just kind of getting old. I mean, it's always been out there and always hanging out there, and people don't want to let it die. So we'll just ride it out and see what happens.
Right here by the light tower.
Dennis Carter, WSCT in Lynchburg. How concerned, how dangerous is that opening game against Liberty for you guys?
It's the most important game on our schedule. I can tell you that. The way we look at it, it's the only game on our schedule. And we won't be looking ahead. We're going to be worried about that game. And all of our focus, once we get in through camp and are prepared for the season, when we go about 10 days out, it'll all be about Liberty.
Hard left on the front row here.
Coach John Munson with Clemson. What is the big key to get from 6, 7, 8 wins over the top? You did it at Southern Miss, getting to that 12-win plateau. But what's that big key as you see it as a coach, getting into double digits with wins?
Well, number one, it's players. I mean, you got to get good players, and that is the key. That's the most important thing. But I think the next thing is to have a very sound philosophy and have a good plan. And we have a plan, we have a sound philosophy, and we have a proven plan. So now it's working, that plan. So I think we're making the progress that we've expected to make. Now it's just continuing that, and staying on track. And so it's, all kind of people have all kind of ideas about what we should be doing and how we ought to be doing it. And as long as we stay true to our philosophy and keep doing the things the way we believe they ought to be done, get over that hump.
Coach, back to the right side, right here in front.
Coach Dan Tortora, Broadcast Media. You talked about the quarterbacks that you have, the two guys going up for the job. Can you just go into their strengths and weaknesses that you're seeing right now so far?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, Mitch and Marquise, both of them. First of all, both can beat you with their legs. They both can beat you with their arms. They're both very intelligent kids. Marquise obviously has the most experience of the two, and he came in under some tough circumstances last year and did a great job for us. Led us to a bowl game and won the bowl game. So Mitch does not have the experience that he has. They have done a tremendous job pushing each other all spring, all summer, and I would say, right now, watching them develop as leaders has been really pleasing for me, and so I'm excited to see how this thing shakes out.
Back to the left again, here, Coach.
Coach Marquise really enjoyed sharing the story yesterday of an eye-popping performance by Elijah Hood that he squatted 605. Is that true, and what was your reaction?
I was in Destin, Florida, so I didn't see it. I saw it on Twitter. So, that's from my understanding, that's where they stopped him. They didn't want him to go any higher. He could have gone higher, but they didn't want that to happen. He's 18 years old. That's a lot of weight, from my understanding. I've never had 605 pounds on my back, so I don't know what that's like.
Right over here, front row.
Hey, Coach, Dane Huffman from UNC in Raleigh. First of all, I guess in Times Square, let's be true. And secondly, your turnaround last year, midway through the season, is when you guys really turned it around. It looked like that was defensively. What was it that got Carolina started last year, and do you think that'll carry over into this season?
Well, we hope so. I will say, we were 1-5 and just got beat by Miami on national TV with the last 16 seconds of the game on Thursday night. And it was devastating for our kids. It really was. But our coaching staff did a tremendous job. Our seniors did a great job of holding that team together. They continued to believe in each other. And I think what we really did at that point was, especially on defense, is guys quit trying to make too much happen. They just took care of their responsibility. They didn't worry about anything else, just their responsibility, and then trusted that the guy next to them would take care of his responsibility. When we started doing that, we quit giving up the explosive plays, the big plays, and when that happened, we started winning football games.
Seated by the light tower here.
Coach Spencer Turkin here from ESPN Radio for Triad. Elijah Hood was such an important recruit, got to keep him in state, 5-star kid. What is the ceiling for this kid?
That's a great question. I don't know what the ceiling is, and we haven't been through a season with him yet, so I don't know. We went through 15 days of spring ball, and now he's gone through the off season and summer workouts. So, I think he's a very special kid. He's extremely intelligent. He picked up the offense as quick as any kid I've ever had, especially at that position. And it will be interesting to see what he does this year and how he does it. So. We haven't been in the heat of the battle yet, so we'll find out. But I don't know what the ceiling is at this point.
Coach, right here.
Coach Jim Connors, Time Warner Cable News. Back to the quarterbacks. At a certain point, I know you approve of competition, but does, say, Marquise, for instance, not have to worry about looking over his shoulder and wonder whether one bad series is getting him pulled?
Yeah, I don't think that will happen. I don't think that will happen, actually. I don't think that Marquise will feel that way at any point. I don't think we have guys on our team that feel that way at any position. And really, we don't treat the quarterback position any different than we do any of the positions. I know that's hard for you guys to believe, but we really don't. And that's why when I said every position was open for competition, everybody's like, wow, what do you mean, quarterback? Marquise and Mitch, they all understood the concept because we do that on our team. We expect our guys to compete. And I've said this, when we have the type of competition in all the other positions like we do at quarterback, then we're going to be a really good football team. And that's what we're aiming and striving to get to. But I don't think he'll be worried about doing that.
Back row left side.
Maybe with WRL and Raleigh, how big of a difference does it make for coaches when you go into a season like this where so many of the kids on your roster are guys that you recruited for your system and not left over from the former staff?
Yeah, I think there's just a comfort level. I really do. I think there's more of a comfort level because, the tough thing about when you come into a program and you don't know the kids is, one, you don't know the strengths and weaknesses of each kid. You don't know what to take advantage and what to hide, okay? The other thing is you really don't know the kid. You don't know his parents. You don't know his family. You don't know how he was raised. You You try to learn that as quickly as possible, but that's hard to do when you're not spending a year and a half recruiting that young man. So when you bring in the kids that fit your systems, there's just more of a comfort level, and you can know how hard you can push, what you need to do to get the most out of that kid.
Back to the key.
Coach Kenny Beck again. I want to ask you about T.J. Logan, somebody who played his high school ball not far from here. Yesterday, Marquise joked. He said he wished he had 4 footballs he could hand off because there's so much talent and depth in the running back stable at Carolina. How do you see that shaking out? And is the fact that T.J.'s been taking some snaps and working in the slot, is that an effort to try to get him as many touches as he can?
Yeah, with all of our guys, we're always, we want to know who our playmakers are. Once we determine who the playmakers are, then we start devising how are we going to get the ball in their hands. And whether that's Ryan Switzer or T.J. Logan or Elijah Hood or Chris Francis or whoever it is, we'll find ways to get them the ball. If you're a playmaker and you make plays, you will touch the ball. Simple as that.
Back here to our left, Coach.
Coach Bob from Raleigh again. Tackle attack. 14 schools, there are 70 positions. I counted 48 returning offensive linemen.